driver. Lights are out on the pace car. We're getting ready to go green for 100 laps. Pull the belts tight. Let's get ready to rock and roll.
Born to Roy and Barbara Hart, October 27th, 1988, Los Banos Memorial Hospital. I was raised in Dos Palos, California. Attended all the local schools there. Always maintained a 3.8 grade point average, if I knew what was good for me. I was in marching band all the way up until high school, and then developed a little bit more of an interest in race cars, and that kind of got me started into racing go-karts, and we just kind of evolved from there. Well, I'm currently a student at Merced Junior College and pursuing a criminology degree. I hope to go into law enforcement. I'll be finishing up that degree here in the next couple months. On the side, I work with Hart paving and grading, do seal coating on asphalt repairs. Got a pretty laid-back school schedule right now, just a few electives that I'm finishing up, and after that ends, then it'll be time to join the police academy and figure out what field it is that I want to go into. I'm still undecided, but somewhere with a sheriff's office or a highway patrol or something along those lines. That's a good question. I'm not sure I know the answer to it. You know, going out of high school, I told him I didn't need to spend any time at the Career Center because I was going to be a NASCAR driver. But that hasn't quite panned out yet, so I always had an interest in the law enforcement field. It'd be racing, hands down, absolutely. But if that doesn't pan out, then hopefully law enforcement will show me a few high-speed chases. Well, when I was young, I used to go watch my dad race street stocks at Merced Speedway, and that was really special.
Ryan was just a little fella, and he used to come to races with his mom and his brother, his big brother, and watch me race, and he liked to climb around in the race car. I think there's a picture of him somewhere, grinning, sitting in the driver's seat behind the car, but he's always liked cars, and I have. At one time, I had 23 show cars, all different kinds, Mopars, Fords, Chevys. And Ryan, I combed his hair back like mine, like we did in the 50s, you know, and we went to car shows all over around here in the valley and up in the hills, Sonora, and all over Modesto. And every weekend we went to a car show somewhere, and we'd take a Thunderbird or something, and we'd go to a car show, and everybody liked Ryan because he looked like a 50s kid, you know, his hair all combed back. And Ryan liked cars, and he liked to talk to people. And so he just always been around me and cars, and it was a natural for him to get into a car, you know. Roy Jr. did, and my oldest son Wayne drove, and Travis drove, and my daughter-in-law drove, my grandson drove. Everybody's been in a race car, it seems like, in this family. So he was the next generation to get into the car, and his accomplishments are well noted. They're better than anything I ever accomplished.
It was a blast. We went to the track. You know, I didn't know what to expect. I was used to being a spectator up in the grandstand. So Dad had always told me stories of when he was racing, how he'd be sitting in the car and get so nervous while he's sitting on the pre-grid, he'd almost get nauseous and sick, and it was pretty similar to that for me. But we went out there and won the heat race, so that was pretty thrilling, and the main event came around. I think we had 7 or 8 carts. I ended up winning it, so that was very memorable. Well, I finally won a championship in the go-karts, and I was the first of any of our family to ever win a championship. I've got 3 older brothers, Wayne, Travis, Roy Jr., all of whom raced. Dad raced. I had a niece that raced quarter midgets in Madera, a nephew that races quads. And when I first got started racing, my dad said, you know, when none of the Harts have ever won a championship, I think we're kind of cursed by the racing gods never to win one. So I said, all right, well, we're going to go racing. I'm going to get you a championship. So in 2002, we won our first championship ever, and that'll always stick with me. And after that, they kind of seemed to come easy. As of today, I've got 9 championships under my belt. So we ventured up to Salinas and bought a '78 Camaro hobby stock. And my first race in that car was kind of rough. I started on the pole for the heat race, and as soon as we came out of turn 4 to take the green flag, I hammered the gas and spun it around before we ever even took the green flag. So the adrenaline was definitely pumping. The main event, we started midfield out of about 14, 16 cars, and the ignition wire fell off the distributor, so I sat in the infield and watched my main event. It was very, very challenging, and the learning curve seemed to be quite long. 2011, we won the championship in my hobby stock in Merced and Chowchilla Speedway, where we used to win in races. And we went to Madera and found ourselves being lapped time after time until Frank Mazie and his crew stepped up and decided to help us out about halfway through the season, and that turned into be one of the greatest rivalry/friendships that we had gained in a long time. And after we had the car figured out, it almost seemed too easy. And finished second in points, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved Driver in 2012. And last year in the hobby stock, we won 16 out of 18 races. So it was really amazing. Oh, just an all-around great guy. What can I say about Frank? He's a class act. It was pretty rare to have competitors drive 60 or 70 miles down to your place to have you to help you set your car up and try and get you competitive. And after he did, we put on some of the best door-to-door racing that I think the hobby stock division's seen at Madera Speedway. And both of us transitioning to the LoanMart Late Model Series now is made for a lot of fun. We had a little deal going on with Frank in 2012. Whoever won the race the following weekend, it was their responsibility to feed both pit crews the following week. So we ate pretty good for the first half of the season, and his crew and himself ate pretty good on Dad's tri-tip for the second half of the season. That's hard to put into words. There's just kind of a thrill I can't describe being behind the wheel, and all the fans out there screaming your name and supporting you, and just the thrill of driving and being behind the wheel. It's something I wouldn't trade for anything. That's a tough call because I got a lot of them. Winning that first championship was definitely up there. In 2010, I believe it was. Maybe it was 2011. At any rate, my brother had been on a kind of a dry spell without any main event wins for a couple years, and he won a race in Chowchilla Speedway, and right as his main event finished, I was sitting on the pre-grid getting ready to go out for my main event. And I thought, wow, how cool would it be for Mom and Dad sitting up there in the stands to be able to see both their sons win a race tonight. And we were able to pull it off. So me and my brother winning a race that night, that was awesome, being my first victory in a full-size car, and him getting a win after so long. It was very, very memorable. And then again, in 2012, the racing season kind of worked with us, and both Mom and Dad's birthday happened to fall on race dates. And I got my first win at Madera Speedway on Pacific Mobile Night, which happened to be my mother Barbara's birthday. And the open show at the end of the year on 10/20 was my dad's birthday, and we were able to win that one too. So there's been a lot of highlights that'll definitely stay with me for a long time. So when I was watching my brother race back in 1998 in Hanford, he had the points lead all season long, and the last 3 races he had DNFs. He blew a motor, and blew another motor, and blew another motor, and lost the championship by 1 point. So that wasn't necessarily with me driving the car, but just from the standpoint of being involved with the team, that was pretty heartbreaking for him, the whole family, and me as well. That's a tough one. I don't know if we really have one main sponsor. You know, of course, Mom and Dad, their love and support and financial contributions have been endless. J&T Automotive Repair, Goodman Farms, Legend Produce, Agricopter Aerial Applications, Donald Vincent Farms, Gamboni Farms. We get a little piece of the pie from everybody, and every little bit helps, you know, and I got a lot of respect for all my sponsors and having as much faith in me as they do. Roy Hart Sr. A lot of people say that I'm his mini-me. I don't know if that's such a good thing at times, but he's a fantastic man, the best father I could ask for. I couldn't think of anything he wouldn't do for me, or my brother, or his wife, or anybody else at the drop of a hat. Yeah, he served time with the U.S. Navy during the Korean War. He's an active member of the American Legion, Post 86 in Dos Palos. And I guess a little bit of him rubbed off on me, because every time we're at the racetrack getting ready to strap into the cars and they play the national anthem, I get the same goosebumps that he talks about. So. You have to work hard for what you want, and you have to show respect for the people around that are willing to help you, because it's a tough world out there and not everybody's willing to help, but definitely have to be grateful for what you have and what others are willing to do for you. Oh, it's a fantastic series. When I first jumped into the LoanMart Late Model last year, I was amazed at the speed that these cars are able to achieve. You know, it feels like you're in NASCAR. And I feel that for me to further my racing career, we really need to take the appropriate steps to find a nice big corporate sponsor. And I think the way that the LoanMart Late Models are evolving, that it's a fantastic series to do so. Oh, just winning a race. I've been dreaming about learning how to do a backflip off the roof of the car when that happens. It would mean the world to us, and the championship, I like to be cautiously optimistic about that, but it would be fantastic. It's hard to put into words. You know, given our track record, though, one year we win Rookie of the Year, and the next year championship year, and last year we were the LoanMart Late Model Rookie of the Year. So if history holds true and repeats itself, then maybe we might find ourselves a champion, and that would be amazing. We could definitely use the money. There's a fantastic caliber of drivers that compete in this series, and we're very happy to finish where we did last year, and I believe we finished 12th out of 37 cars that appeared. So we'd like to see ourselves up there with the Justice Brothers cars and Mike David and Erickson and all the big boys up there. I'd like to give them a run for their money this year. Well, again, my mom and dad, I can't thank them enough for their help. All my sponsors, I got a fantastic pit crew, stands behind me 100%. All the fans out there, I just can't thank anybody enough for all the encouragement and support that I get from all of them.
Woo! Good job, driver. We'll see you in victory lane.